Hello and welcome to the Downsized Dish. My name is Lorraine Durham, and this is the series where we talk to people who have lost weight using a GLP-1 medication like Mounjaro, Wegovy, Zepbound, Tirzepatide, semaglutide, and I think I just left one out, but you get the idea. And this is our channel, The Downsized. We make content every day on GLP-1 related news, information, and personal stories. So we hope that you will like and subscribe to our channel. Before we get started, I'd just like to remind everybody that I'm not a doctor. My guest is not a doctor, and this is not medical advice. If you're looking to start a GLP-1 journey or fitness journey, please make sure you talk to your doctor before starting anything like that. Okay, so today we are talking with Zach Neimiec. Welcome, Zach, to The Downsized.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, pretty. Well, Zach, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, my name's Zach, otherwise known on social media platforms as Lucky_Fins. I have actually somehow spent the last almost 8 years now working in the field of obesity as my career on top of just living the life of obesity, someone who struggled with it for as long as I can remember at this point. So, the disease of obesity is something that's very personal to me. My journey has had its ups and downs, but I'm fortunate to be very educated as a patient, and that patient education outwardly is something very big that I try to promote people to talk to their physicians or get help from a dietitian or any avenue that they can use extra assistance on their journey. It's not just like a one size fits all for everyone. And if that's a message that I can get out there to people, that is what I want to do.
Awesome. Well, how much weight have you lost, Zach?
I'm down about 150 pounds.
Wow.
I'm going into week 88 of my GLP-1 journey when we're recording this.
Okay, awesome. And so you mentioned, struggling your whole life. What other things have you tried before you got to GLP-1?
Oh boy. I'm sure like others that you've interviewed, the common answer is probably everything.
Yeah.
But one part of the journey that I really like to highlight is the fact that I started actually down the bariatric pathway as soon as I was 16 years old.
Wow.
I had the lap band just before my 17th birthday. It was successful for a while. And then unfortunately the band slipped. And while it didn't really cause a lot of problems, it needed to come out because of that. And unbeknownst to me as well, my body responded and covered it all in scar tissue.
Oh, no.
So I went to actually have it removed and be converted to either a sleeve or a bypass. And they had to close me back up because they spent the entire surgery time that was meant for the revision portion chiseling out scar tissue. So I had to wait another year. And when the tool even though the tool was broken, was out, the weight went right back up because my tool to treat obesity was gone again.
And how old were you? How old were you when that happened?
So when the band came out, I was around 23.
Okay.
So I had it for a bit in there. And like I said, I was successful for a while with the band, managing my weight, but it was an unfortunate thing that I wasn't unique in that. A lot of people ended up having issues with a band, whether it was slippage or other reasons. And I'm glad to see that we're moving a little bit more away from the band and towards, the other bariatric procedures these days. But I ultimately ended up getting a gastric sleeve in 2017, I believe it was. And I also was getting a hiatal hernia repair at the time.
Okay.
But several years later into the pandemic, I learned that my stomach anatomy had returned to normal. And that was not because of overeating or anything. It was because a older method of fixing the hiatal hernia was used where They still removed a portion of the stomach. I had the staple line that accompanied the sleeve, but I actually kept, the medical term was retained fundus, which the fundus is that round curvature of the stomach, or the round stretchy part, as I like to just call it. They pulled my hernia down and wrapped that stretchy part around to prevent the hernia from pulling up above my diaphragm again. And at some point, that tack, or that surgical method of keeping that in place, came undone and my stomach returned to normal. And I actually ended up seeking like a reflux surgery and ended up getting one of those procedures done. But the doctor had previously done lap bands, and he goes, if it wasn't for your staple line, I would have never known you had bariatric surgery. I was, well, that was lovely to hear. And then kind of to get us to closer to where we are now in the journey, I ended up having about 3 years of really severe digestive issues with no diagnosis. I saw 5 different gastroenterologists. Ended up at the Cleveland Clinic in Florida, and I saw a gastroenterologist there, and he ended up prescribing me a medication off use, which was actually a cholesterol medication, because he had a suspicion that something other than gastro symptoms were going on. And this cholesterol medicine was called Questrin, I believe was the name of it. It's like an orange tang powder you mix into water, you drink it, but it binds to your liver bile to like help block cholesterol absorption or something of that nature. By binding to the bile, it like eliminated it from dumping into my digestive tract, and my symptoms almost instantly resolved, which pointed to him that I needed to go see a hepatologist, that something was going on with my liver because my liver was doing something. And I did, but there was a few months in between when he told me that and to when I could actually see a hepatologist for the first time. And that's when I started a GLP-1 in that time. And, you know, then I finally was able to see the liver doctor, and the liver doctor said, well, you got...
sound just went out.
Oh.
Hold on 1 second. Say something, Zach.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear him. Did you do something?
Accidentally.
Oh, what did you do?
I stuck my AirPod in.
Oh.
Talk to me, Zach.
Hang on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All good.
Okay, so I think from you started a GLP-1.
Yeah, I started a GLP-1 shortly before I was finally able to see the hepatologist.
Yeah.
And then when I was able to see the hepatologist, she actually said to me, well, unbeknownst to yourself, you actually started treating your non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that you have. And I was at about a mid-level stage of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And basically she said, you're still reversible, but you're on the scarring and start of fibrosis type of stage where, like, if you let this continue, there will be a point where this is not reversible.
Yeah.
So obviously a wake-up call. And she then presented 2 options to me. You either continue down the road of the GLP-1 that you're on and see where it takes you, or her real recommendation was to go and have another bariatric procedure.
Oh, dear. Really?
And, you know, this was a couple of, you know, over a year ago now, almost 2, you know, at this point. So we've learned a heck of a lot more about GLPs in that time. Medical associations have often altered their opinions about them at, you know, now. So I get where she was coming from, especially because from a research data standpoint, bariatric surgery still has better long-term outcomes just based on available data right now. Once we have actual years to compare against it, we'll have a better picture. So I understand the medical recommendation, and I'm a big believer in both bariatrics and GLP as a treatment for obesity. There doesn't need to be bariatric or there can be together. It's one disease. We need all the modes to treat it.
That's a great way to think about it. So I guess you continued with the GLP-1 versus another surgery.
Yes, because I had so many at that point. I had the band put in, the band out, the sleeve, and then I ended up with a reflux procedure. So 4 surgeries. I didn't want the fifth one to be the charm.
Right.
Oh, and yeah, that's kind of why I ended up sticking with it. I first did start with semaglutide, compounded. I will openly admit that I have not had through this entire journey access or coverage for a branded GLP-1.
Yeah.
I have been with several different telehealth providers through the journey. I'm really glad I am not with the first one anymore, because when I went to switch to another one, they said, well, you're going to gain weight without the medication. So I was really happy that I got rid of that one.
Yeah.
Just a scare tactic there. But after 59 weeks of being on semaglutide, I spoke with my provider about switching to Tirzepatide because I was in about a 9-week stall and had more weight to lose at that point, still about another 30 pounds until I needed to hit goal.
Yeah.
And the provider thought it would be a good idea. And I then switched over, and I've honestly not increased much dosage from when I started. They started me middle of the pack, and then
okay.
I've not needed to go up to a max dose, and now I'm in maintenance. So out of the 88 weeks that we're at, 59 of them were semaglutide, and the little bit of the difference now, almost 30 weeks or so, has been Tirzepatide.
Interesting. So are you on like a 7.5 dose of Tirzepatide or somewhere in there?
So I am on a custom dose.
Custom dose. All right.
So I am on it's 11 and some change. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I started at 10.
Gotcha.
So I really honestly haven't moved much on that scale, and it was enough for me to get me to maintenance now. I am within my 10-pound range that I have set for myself with my provider too, which my range was between 155 and 165. And the last time I saw a number, I was 158. But I've locked the scale up for the last little bit over a month, and I'm finally allowing myself to unlock the scale this coming Friday.
Oh, nice. How tall are you, Zach?
I'm about 5'9".
5'9". Okay. So, yeah, you're right in that. Tell me your range again that you're maintaining between.
Between 155 and 165. Between 160 and 165 is really the target. But, some weeks you weigh a little bit less, some weeks you weigh a little bit more. So we decided instead of a 5-pound range, let's give me the grace of a 10, especially because I'm working out a lot.
Yeah. I've watched you on TikTok with your with your workouts. And actually, Zach and I met at the Obesity Action Coalition Your Weight Matters conference in Washington, D.C. back in July. So it was great to meet you there and learn about your story. Tell us about these pictures, Zach.
Yeah. So the picture in the suit is actually from OAC, from the gala, the gala evening that they hosted there for their 20th anniversary. So very recent photo of me there. Actually, I got a Sika scan there, and that's where they weighed me. So I had gone almost a full month without weighing, but I didn't know that my weight would be on it. So but it was funny. The other picture is from November, late November 2023, probably about 10 days or so before I started my GLP-1.
Yeah.
I was on a cruise actually in the middle Mediterranean. And, I got off the ship, and I had actually already preemptively ordered it and everything and signed up for it, but I forgot to bring it with me to the airport. So I got a few extra weeks before I had started because I was over in Europe for a little bit there.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you did great in any case. And what's your total weight loss again?
It's just shy of 150 pounds. It was honestly, it was almost 50%, because my starting weight in that picture was 305 pounds.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm teetering between like 147 and 150 overall, but 150 is just easier to say for rounding.
Yeah. So you had a great like average weekly weight loss, right? Like you were beyond the 1 to 2 pound a week average, I think, right?
Yeah,
Or,
and it's interesting because some week there was none, and
okay.
then some week there were much larger drops.
Yeah.
This it was much greater of a fluctuation when I was on semaglutide than it was the tirzepatide,
Okay.
which was just something interesting for
Yeah.
me to monitor. But I'm really just loving how consistent that I am now.
Yeah.
And maintenance was a scary idea for me to
Sure.
enter because I was getting like the dopamine hit from the scale every time I stepped on it, and I was weighing
Right.
myself like every day for a while, and that's why I needed to break up with the scale as well. But now I've got new metrics for maintenance, which are beyond just the scale. And I'm really focusing on body composition because I feel like that is a task that I want to complete before I allow myself to get a consult for skin removal.
Okay.
The earliest that I have told myself that I will allow myself to get that consult is January, so next year,
Okay.
after I've officially hit 2 years on this journey. And so, but I'm doing a lot of work in the meantime, and I'm seeing a lot of physical changes. But next, in a couple weeks here, I will be getting my next DEXA scan, and that is really going to be my next big benchmark of data comparison of my lean muscle mass and my body fat percentage, which is something that I'm really focusing on right now beyond the number on the scale.
Yeah. So I guess you're focusing on things like building muscle, lowering body fat. I know you're doing DEXA scans. Does your home scale give you any metrics of that? You have any of those readings?
Yeah. My scale does give me lean muscle mass and body fat percentage. Obviously I take home scales with a grain of salt as well. It was slightly off from my DEXA scan the first time I had it.
Yeah.
And then I'm even getting another Sika scan in November likely as well. And I'd be curious because Sika and DEXA are different. And I'd like to, now that I'll have two DEXAs to compare, I'd love to get a comparison of the two Sikas as well. Because if they're both moving in a certain direction, it means it's the validation that I'm doing and seeing the progress that I'm after.
Yeah. And for people that haven't heard maybe of the Sika scan, they had one at the conference, at the Obesity Action Coalition conference. And you step on it, it's a bio impedance. Is that how you say it? Scale. And you hold on and it runs a current. And it's not an X-ray type like a DEXA. Yeah. It's more of just the current going through your body. But they claim the Sika scale was like 95% accurate or more, I think they told
me. And they did say that there were certain factors that might throw it off, like it can account for like, did you just eat or did you not eat today yet, or all things. So they recognize that, but that's why I also like the idea of getting another one of theirs, just like with the DEXAs, so I can compare the actual apples to apples. And I do know that the folks over there at Sika will actually look at your DEXAs as well and give you a cross kind of analysis of the two. So once I actually get more data, I think I'll sit down and speak to them more in depth about that as well, because I think it would be helpful for me to also understand how the two can relate to each other. So just for my own mindset, like, if the weight number on the scale isn't going to be my end all be all anymore, really my fat and my muscle percentage are the two things that I'm after. And when I entered maintenance, I got my first DEXA scan. I got my first DEXA scan at the end of March. It was still about 2 more months before I went into maintenance at that point. I started maintenance in like June. And my body fat percentage was 22.7%. Which was in the healthy range for my age, my height. But my goal was to just barely fall. I want to fall barely into the next category.
Was that athlete or was that?
Yeah, I think it is athlete.
Yeah.
But I think it was like 19.9% would put me there. And I was like, all right, even if I just hit it by the 0.1%, we're there. And that's where we're aiming to stay. Like, I have no intentions on becoming a bodybuilder or have no desire to get like a sub 15% body fat. I don't have the dedication and patience for it. I'll say that. I'll say
I mean, who has the time for that, right? We have other jobs and lives and things happening, right?
Exactly. I don't want to live at the gym.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking about the gym, tell us about your exercise routine.
Yeah. So, I wish I had done things with this journey a little bit differently, but I will say I feel like it worked for me is kind of, I wish I had a DEXA or a body scan at the very start, but that's, we can't change what we didn't know about really at that time. So there is that piece, but the majority of my journey was very cardio focused at first. And I think that's really what exacerbated my weight loss, because I was probably in a bigger calorie deficit than I should have. But knowing my nutrition knowledge from my career, protein was always a focus of any meal that I was eating. Even if I wasn't eating a lot, there had to be something with protein on my plate. And I had to eat it first. That was a rule.
That's a good one.
So, I think knowing that, I did prevent a lot of muscle loss. I think over the course, because I say that confidently, because when I did get the first DEXA scan and I was over a year into this, I still had 124 pounds of lean muscle mass. And at that time of that DEXA scan, I was 173 pounds. So I had a good ratio and balance at that point. So I really don't feel like I had a wild swing at that over the course of the journey. And so when I started, I was like 95% cardio to 5% resistance training. And then as I got smaller, I started to add in some more resistance. And now it's to the point where I'm almost 100% resistance training with a little bit of cardio here or there. And if I do cardio, it's the stair stepper, so I can still work out the glutes while I'm doing it, because my glutes disappeared.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So when you were right at 300 pounds, maybe a little bit more, what kind of cardio were you able to do? Was it walking?
Walking, but believe it or not, I ran a lot on the treadmill.
Did you really?
Wasn't necessarily super fast at first.
Yeah.
But last December, I did an outdoor 5K.
Oh, nice.
And I finished it in just under 40 minutes. It was like 39 and some change. So I was really proud of that.
Excellent.
And then in June, I just did another one and I finished in about 35 minutes.
Yeah, you got much faster when you got smaller.
Yeah, but what was wild is that was only a 6-month difference. But it roughly the same 6 months between stopping semaglutide and going into maintenance with Tirzepatide. So you're talking about another 30-pound weight difference between the 2 points. I am not training for anything beyond the 5K at this point. I no longer see the need for me to run a further distance than that. But I will probably do 1 or 2 5Ks still a year. But really, I'm very much focusing on that muscle building aspect now.
Nice. How old are you, Zach?
I'm 32.
32. Okay. So you're a babe, a mere baby. Yeah, no, I mean, that's awesome that you were able to run, that you maybe still continue it here and there. I used to run in my younger days. Now in my 50s, it's a little bit harder. Things hurt a little bit more, but I love that you focused on the muscle building piece, still focusing on protein. Both are very important, to keep that muscle on the journey. So that's great. You talk about, going on semaglutide versus Tirzepatide. A lot of people ask us, what's the difference? What's better? Like, do you have any like things that stand out to you in that respect?
Yeah. And again, these are kind of anecdotal, just about my own experience. But semaglutide, I think to take Dave Knapp's analogy from On the Pen, that it's a blunt object. You know, it kind of is. But so when I actually took like my initial dose of it or doses, I felt stomach constriction, almost like it was immediately slowing things down and restricting. And like, when I tell you, as soon as it entered my system, I felt restriction. And it was almost like the same restriction I had felt with when my stomach was actually smaller. And it was very interesting in that regard. And my hunger levels were quite different on semaglutide than they were tirzepatide. I am more hungry. I get hungry more frequently, and my portion sizes are able to be bigger on tirzepatide. Versus when I was on semaglutide, there was a point where I was like, "You're eating like a bird." And yeah, like. When I tell you they had to move me back a dose for a bit, because we might have jumped up a little too early on one of them. There was like 3 weeks where I was, and I hate to say this out loud, but hey, it's the truth of the journey. I was like living on Lunchables, like the protein snack pack type of little square things, to make sure that I was still getting protein. But that was all I could physically eat in the sitting, was a few crackers, some cheese, and some meat. Like, that was it. I would even struggle to get through a protein shake, or was using overnight oats a lot for breakfast, for both, good fiber and protein. So, but they were quite different. Whereas the tirzepatide, yes, I had no cravings whatsoever with semaglutide either. Like it was just shut up. Like,
just shut it down.
I saw it sweet, and absolutely, like, it made me sick to look at it.
Wow.
It was very powerful for me. The interesting thing is, while that's still mostly controlled for me with the tirzepatide, I look at something sweeter or whatever and go, maybe not. Now, especially that I am in maintenance, like, I don't restrict myself from having something like that either, as just total restriction is not great either. I would say, though, I do feel overall that it does work a little bit differently. We do know in the tirzepatide that it is more GIP than it is GLP-1, whereas semaglutide is all GLP-1.
Right. And tell us what the difference that means. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so GLP-1 does work more in the gut, whereas GIP, which is another hormone, they're finding work more in the brain. And so what's interesting too with all of this is, right before I had found out my liver was sick, and starting the GLP, I gave up drinking as well.
Oh, okay.
I haven't craved to drink at all. And these medications are even being studied for smoking and alcohol cessation now. And other things, because of the number of receptor sites we have throughout our entire body for these. Obviously, we've seen the American Heart Association come out and say, this should be a first line of defense to prevent heart disease now, and other things like that. So they do work differently. And, there's another one that's coming that is a triple agonist.
Retatrutide.
Retatrutide. And there are a few others that are different dual combinations that are in development from several different drug makers. So it's an exciting time.
It is.
So if I need to stay on tirzepatide this entire time for maintenance, or maybe my maintenance is eventually I go to the oral Wegovy or something like that.
Or Forglipron.
You never know. But it's something that controls the food noise is important. and allows me to stay within my range. And that is what I care about the most. Cost will obviously remain a factor in that because, when new shiny things come out, they are expensive. And without the commercial coverage for them either, it will remain, access will remain an issue to them.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, I'm on compounded Tirzepatide. I have been for my whole journey. So I'm right with you there. I'm all about the cost. Did you have any of the side effects people talk about with semaglutide, the nausea, any of that?
Yeah, I had some, and sometimes it was worse than others. Nausea was probably the number one thing, but I also think it was often a reminder for me to get more water in, or to eat, because the body has a few signals it can send out when it's not getting what it needs. And common ones are nausea and headache. And guess what? Those are two very common possible side effects with these medications.
Yeah.
So I kind of took it as a litmus test with that. And then, of course, the kind of the more embarrassing one is always if you ate something, you might have ended up experiencing more of like a loose stool, or in bariatrics, we call that dumping syndrome. Where the body just evacuates. So, those though have been my only side effects. And I think those are all very manageable. And I now, water cannot be the issue anymore because I chug a lot of it with electrolytes in every single one of my water bottles.
Every single one of them.
Every single one gets a scoop of my electrolytes in it.
Nice. I've been using them like when I work out. I'm not really sure, like,
well,
how much do I need? I know we're not doctors.
No. And for me, the thing is like, I struggle with the taste of plain water.
Okay.
So I found a brand of electrolytes that has no artificial sweeteners, colors, flavorings. It's as natural as possible. But helps me with hydration from the electrolyte piece of it. And now I enjoy drinking my water. So if that's what it took for me to put a little scoop of electrolytes in each one every time I fill up my Yeti, then great.
Yeah, for sure. Now, are you taking any other supplements along the way?
I make sure that I take a multivitamin for sure. That's very big. And I do also have a prescription for Samorelin. Which is another peptide that helps with lean muscle mass protection and building.
Okay.
So it works by telling the pituitary gland to release more growth hormone. And then it also has sleep benefits because of that. So actually, when I don't take it, my sleep starts to get interrupted again. And I have sleep apnea as well. So I feel like that's been helping me with that. My sleep apnea has not resolved on this journey yet. But
maybe you need a sleep study so you can get approved for Zepbound for sleep apnea.
Well, it's funny. My insurance doesn't even cover it regardless. But I have sleep apnea. That would be great. But no, I did get retested this year, and it's still showing mild to moderate sleep apnea, which is fine because prior it was at severe. So we've moved backwards, and at the end of May, my non-alcoholic fatty liver disease was declared in remission as well. So,
I was going to ask, that was my next question. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it was very, very exciting. My overall picture of health, though, has vastly improved on every other metric. So I can't complain about this journey other than the struggle, access, and cost has been. Those are the two things, and that is why we're out here on these streets abdicating and making noise.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, before you had the first lap band surgery, I guess now looking back, you can see the food noise was there, I would think, right? Did any of the surgeries help quiet that food noise, or was it until you got to GLP-1s that it really quieted?
So I would say yes, but it's more of a different mechanism.
Okay.
For the procedures, because not so much the lap band, but when you get into procedures like sleeve and bypass, they can actually remove the portion of the stomach that produces ghrelin, or your ghrelin hunger hormone is actually
Hunger.
significantly reduced. So while it's not necessarily food noise, hunger does, in my opinion, play a part of food noise, because I think hunger feeds into food noise. Food
Yeah.
noise is like the little monster in the back of the closet or under the bed that, like, when we are hungry, it pulls out and wants to reach for the bad thing, or leads us to overeating, or whatever you want to call it. It's
Yeah.
okay to be hungry.
Right.
Like, it's natural. We need food.
That's
But
important to remember. Yeah.
I would say that I felt that there was a level of craving control when I did have a proper sleeve for a bit. I would say when I'm under the pharmaceutical treatment that I am, it is much better controlled. But that's because we're addressing more hormones and systems and receptor site, whereas that was just a surgical removal, so to
It's kind of a
speak.
different route. Yeah.
And ghrelin production can return in time.
Interesting. All right. So, wow. I mean, it's just been such a journey you've been on, like with the surgeries and now on the GLP-1s. And do you think you'll well, let me just for clarification, do you think you'll be on a GLP-1 long term?
Yeah. I'm going to say at minimum 6 years. And I know that seems like such a weird number to throw out there, but if you are a subscriber to like set point theory and like the hypothalamus's role in that, there are some data points out there that say it could take for like up to 6 years for your body to actually readjust your set point. Now again, not a doctor,
Right.
It's all a range or whatever. But I was like, well, if it says up to 6 years, well, maybe I'll wait the 6 years. But no, at this point, I don't see myself coming off even at that point. Now, where the flexibility is it might be a different medication, it might be a different form. I'm willing to play with those, but I am not willing at this point to give up a GLP. And my real justification for that is, if you stop treating a disease or a problem, it often comes back. Like a pipe that you wrap some tape around, you might have stopped the leak temporarily, but it usually comes back as a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So I would like more people to understand that obesity is a relapsing, remitting chronic disease. It is. It's I am terrified. I will say it. I'm terrified that the weight will come back again. You've heard the journey that I've been on. It has come back before.
It has come back. Yeah. I mean, I'm terrified, and I've been in maintenance for about a year, but I've been heavy my whole life. Right. So I know if I stop doing this, it'll go back to how I was before. So I definitely don't want to stop taking it. Do you see yourself spreading out your dose, maybe going down in dose? I know a lot of people on maintenance play with those aspects.
Yeah. And so that's really a great question. And it's something that I've considered at some point. I am working more right now with my practitioner on my actual dosage. To see it, maintaining this weekly cadence, but seeing if I can walk back. We did walk back too much at one point, and the food noise was like roaring there. And I was like, no, we're going back up, please. We're going back up. And
I did the same thing.
We seem to be at the sweet spot right now. But I think a lot of my dosing and how long I go in between will really depend on the overall structure of this maintenance journey too, because as I work on composition, there will be a point where I've achieved those goals too. And I do want to consider skin removal surgery for my chest and belly region in particular. That is where the majority of my excess skin is. And one of my friends is a dietitian at the Cleveland Clinic, and she straight up pulled me aside and said, if you get skin removal surgery, I might actually tell you you're underweight.
Oh,
And because I have a lot of excess skin that is weight.
I mean,
And
what is it? Maybe 10 pounds of skin, you think?
it might be more.
Might be more.
She was putting me more in like the 10 to 12 pound range.
Oh, wow.
Of just my belly. And because really, yeah, my belly is where a lot of it is. That's where I carried most of my weight. And like, I'm very thankful. My arms, you can see a little bit of it here, but like
Not
a
bad.
lot of this has filled in as I've been in the gym. My legs are getting a little bit better too, but the belly region is just not getting, it's getting droopier.
Well, I mean, to me, you're young, right? You're young. So I'm wondering how much can it retract? You know, I would think you would still be able for it to come back somewhat, you know.
Yeah, and it definitely has.
From January, how it's doing with that. And definitely the weight, working out with weights and the muscle building should help that as well. So yeah, but yeah, you might, I mean, it might be a lot that's removed, and then you might go, oh, I really need to pump up calories and maybe
I might need to gain. Muscle. I might be on a slight gain journey then. So we.
Can you imagine?
I know, but like that, like I called her back a week later and was like, all right, I want you to know that my brain has hated that statement for the last week, but now I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like part of that terror, it's part of that fear, but also weirdly exciting to even think about that remotely because I never even thought I would be at this point.
Right. It's just such a mind twist, right? Like, did you ever think you would get to your goal weight? Like at any point?
No, I thought I was going to, honestly, I thought I was going to be riding this train until I hit a point where it just wouldn't come off, or I was starting to regain a little bit. And that would be the point where I would then go and get a gastric bypass to finish it off and have the permanent tool at that point. I am now skinny enough to the point where I don't even qualify for bariatric surgery anymore. So,
yes, no, of course not. Yeah. I mean, and that takes some time to wrap your mind around that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any body dysmorphia where you look in the mirror and you don't really see it?
I've walked definitely by like mirrored windows of businesses. Like as I'm walking by that had to do like the turn back double take because like there was a period of like where I saw myself still as the bigger person. And honestly, OAC, that picture in my before and after, the other attendees took that picture of me for me. And I looked at it and it was the first time I verbally said out loud, wow, I'm skinny.
Yeah.
And it was very powerful for me.
Pictures are such a good way to have your mind grasp, I think, because a lot of times the mirror just doesn't connect the same way a picture can. And I don't know why that is, but I've heard a lot of people say that.
Absolutely. But really the one thing from the dysmorphia aspect, the loose skin is what I struggle with the most. And again, like I said, really only in one region, thankfully. And I'm seeing improvements in the other. So it gives me a little bit hope that I will get some movement back in the right direction. But, you know, I also know if you stretch a rubber band too far, it never goes fully back to
Well, mother of three here with, you know, gained and lost anywhere from 50 to 80 pounds with each one. So, I can attest to that for sure. Well, let's talk about what you're eating. Do you count your calories, or how do you guide yourself there with food?
So I do need to get better at counting them, but I recently met with my dietitian again, and I said, listen, we're now 2 months into this maintenance journey. My gym schedule is really ramping up. I said, I know I need to be eating more. How can we work on this? And first, then she sent me over a whole plan. And then when we were on camera, she goes, I can tell you're overwhelmed. Stop. Whatever you're thinking, stop. And I went, okay, I'll listen. Because I was presented with a plan that was like 25 to 2,600 calories a day. And I was like,
Oh my.
okay, how can I do this? My protein went up from 120 grams to 180 grams a day. My carbs went up, my fat went up, all of it went up, but it all went up because muscle building is the goal right now. And I need more fuel to do so.
You need those excess calories to build the muscle.
Yeah. And so I, admitted that like it is hard to remember to eat sometimes, or to, make sure that like I'm getting all the calories into the day. Like I make sure I eat at least 3 times a day. That part is settled, but without actually counting the exact macros, there might be some days that are off. But again, as I said before, there has to be a protein in front of me at all times. Even in my snacks now, like there is protein, so I can chip away at that daily goal for sure. But so she said to me, and this was about 2 weeks ago, I want you between lunch and dinner to start with a snack. Between lunch and dinner, just one snack, something that helps you to get that done. After a few weeks that you're successful at doing that, I now want a snack between breakfast and lunch. And then, we go from there. And then right before I meet her the next time, which should be probably the middle of next month, I'll see her again. She wants me to just track for 3 days, just a snapshot.
Yeah.
And we'll see where we're at. And if I'm struggling to actually consume food because it's just so much in a day because of the medication, we're going to then look at changing what's on the plate first before trying to go, no, you need bigger meals. Because maybe I am reaching for the source of protein or something that there could be a better option for me to meet my calorie and fat and carb goal. And it's a little bit of it is also unloading the diet culture that's in your head that you need to, like everything should be low calorie, everything should be low sugar, everything should be low fat. Like I need to now let go of some of that.
Yeah, it's
aspect. Hard. But I will attest that I will be remaining lower carb because I just know my body, and carbs are, they are not my friend. They are what my food noise always reached for. Yeah. And I have found to be a trigger for my food noise too, and overeating. That if like I eat a bad carb, that is, I should specify, because there are good carbs and bad carb. But if I reached for something that was more of that refined processed carbohydrate, it triggered hunger, it triggered food noise, and I would just want more, and my system just wanted more of that. And
even on the GLP-1 medication, you could get that
a little bit. It's definitely more controlled.
Yeah,
it's definitely more controlled with the medication. But there have been instances where it's like, oh, I'm really full, but I'm gonna finish that. I'm not gonna let it go.
Yeah.
And then you're like struggling to finish it, and you're like, that's like, yeah.
I really didn't need to finish that after all. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I've been really good about too, is just pushing the plate away while I've been full now. Whereas like, I think a lot of us have been indoctrinated that you were supposed to finish your plate.
Clean the plate, of course.
And now I'm pro leftovers.
Yes, for sure. One thing that occurs to me, and of course, I'm not a doctor, but if you're trying to eat more to build muscle, you might look at dialing your dose back a little bit so you have a little bit more room to eat more. Does that
so that is on the table, very much on the table. So, we have walked my dose back a little bit, and yes, I am eating more. It still might not be enough. But before I had met with the dietitian, the original dose drop we did obviously swung the pendulum too far. The other direction. One thing, though, I will say about being more physically active and lifting more weights is I've naturally been more hungry.
Okay.
As well.
So that's good. It reminds you to eat, maybe after the workout with a protein. So
also, I'm one of the people who work out with no fuel. I don't eat before I go to the gym. I work out first thing in the morning. So it's hard for me to consume food But as soon as I get home, I make sure that even if I'm in a rush to start work, I get a banana or a yogurt to just get something in. And then when that first call of the day is done, I get something more substantial at that point on those really busy days. But I put the fuel in right after the workout for sure to help with my recovery. And I do use a few other like workout supplements now, like creatine or BCAAs.
I was going to ask you about creatine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because like I'm trying to do what I need to build my muscle, and I do think it has an effect. And then some days when I just want to feel that my muscles are a little bit bigger, I use things that have beetroot extract in them because
What does that do?
Well, they claim that it helps with blood flow. And when you're building your muscles, blood flow is a good thing for recovery, but it also in the moment makes your muscles look bigger. And so like when I really want to hype myself up one day, I'll take my beetroot gummy or my beetroot powder before I go to the gym. And I'm not a fan of pre-workouts. I do have one that's non-stim, but like a lot of them contain like a lot of B vitamins and things like that. And I'm sensitive to like niacin. So like if you take too much niacin, you often hear people getting red and itchy. It's called like a niacin flush. There are non-flushing forms of it as well on the market, but there's if you don't look at anything these days, there seems to be B vitamins in everything.
Yeah.
Like
their energy.
Yeah. And I feel like we're all on B vitamin overload right now as well. So I try to reduce where I can because I know I'm getting my B vitamins in my daily multivitamin.
Awesome. Well, how about, let's change the subject a little bit. How about your clothing? Have you cleaned out your closet and gotten rid of all the...
It is a constant struggle.
Yeah.
I have probably flipped my wardrobe 6 or 7 times at this point. Now I've done it very cheaply at times, and other times I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to buy the nice thing," and then it doesn't fit anymore. But like right before OAC, I had to run and buy 2 more blazers because the blazers I had bought a few months before looked ginormous on me.
I think we talked about that when we met. Yeah, that's so funny. But those. So you've gotten rid of all the big stuff, like it's gone, or
it's gone. I probably have a few things that I bought like last winter now that will be ginormous. I've been focusing on flipping in the current season. Because that's meet myself where I am.
Not baby steps, but smaller steps, right?
Well, for my wallets.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But the interesting thing is now with all the different brands that are out there and all the different countries that clothing comes from, I'm like a different size in almost everything. So shopping has become very frustrating at times as well.
Yeah.
I went to Kohl's earlier this week because I had some Kohl's cash that had to get used up from buying those blazers for OAC.
Right. Love the Kohl's cash.
Yeah. And it was funny. My roommate needed to come with me, or he was like, "I have something to return for Amazon, and I'll just walk the store while you're walking around." Yeah. He ended up buying way more than I did. It was hilarious. But we bought from a couple of different brands, and one brand I was a small, actually, or like a couple brands I was size small in. But some I was medium. Medium is where I typically fall. The happy medium is medium, it seems like. It's clothing. But some clothes that I've been buying smalls in now.
Yeah.
And I do wear shapewear from time to time to help with the skin, depending on what I'm doing, or not even like full blown shapewear. I found like these tank tops that are mostly cotton, but they're 5% spandex. So they do They give me a little bit of compression, but I have a bad back too. So a little bit of structure doesn't hurt.
No, women have always known about these fabrics. They're slowly making their way into the men's world, right?
Need more of them.
Yeah. What was your waist size before and after? I bet you lost like...
Oh, yeah. Well, my waist height is still indeterminate because it seems to be changing aggressively again. And I think that's because of the time in the gym. But my max was about a 48.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And right now it seems that I'm like a 30. So a lot. Yeah. I never thought I'd see a 30. When I bought 32s, I celebrated because I don't ever recall wearing a 32 in my life.
That's funny.
I
Yeah.
just bought some 30s. Well, it's funny. I bought a 31 in a pair of shorts,
Oh,
and they're already falling off of.
oh.
And I'm just like, this is mind blowing to me. So like, I don't even know where I'm going to end up as far as that goes.
Yeah.
At some point from the weightlifting, the scale is also going to start moving back up too.
Back up. Yeah, it
But
will.
it's good weight. It's good weight.
Right. And that's,
But also, will the stuff I'm buying still fit?
well, I mean, I guess, and I've been trying to figure this out also because I've been wanting to try to build muscle. Like I don't want to lose any more weight, but I want to just change that body composition a little bit. And really, how much muscle can you put on per week or per month? Like how much is that going to, do you know?
I wish I knew.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's that much, like maybe a couple of pounds of muscle a month or something like that. So, I think you'll have time to see it where you're building it and how that's gonna pan out maybe.
Yeah. And I'm very much, again, I think the DEXA will give me an inclination of how much progress I've made.
Yeah.
As well. And that will give me a little bit more of a, okay, well, this is just one comparison and then I'll go and get another one. I do think I'm going to wait a little less time between my next one. I probably will go and get one in January right before I do allow myself to, go and book that consult for the skin removal as well. Because I also want to make sure that I've achieved my composition goals, like I said, before I follow through with even getting the consult. And the thing about the consult too is like I'm telling myself I'm going to allow myself to get it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to act on it anytime soon either. Like
it's
I want to know what my actual options are and what it looks like to the cost wise and all of those factors. Or they might tell me, hey, listen, you need to keep up this gym thing for another 6 months and then come back and see us. They know better about how to put the body back together in that regards. Right. Whereas I only have this one piece of the puzzle from the data point. So there's so many things like the dietitian. She wants to see me again after my next DEXA scan because she thinks the DEXA scan results might influence her macros that she tells me to continue to eat. So again, it's so multi-factored.
Right. It's more than just the one number on the scale, right? We've got all these other things to look at now.
And I want to tell anyone who is starting this journey, please, by all means, get excited by the number you see on the scale as it goes down.
Yeah.
But take into consideration some of these other potential numbers, factors, or sources of advice and help. Because if you're working on your total system health, again, I don't think there's one right way to do it, but you might find something that really works for you on your journey to set that good or best habit for you earlier than going back and trying to put the cat back into the bag after you've lost the weight.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to do those like little baby steps along the way, right? Like not try to do everything right at first, but as you go along and you fine tune your journey and you figure out, how you really want to look and how you want to feel. And there's so many little tweaks that we can make. And at the beginning, it's just overwhelming. What do you mean I've got all this weight to lose? And what do you mean I got to take this shot? And it's too much. I'm never going to be able to do it. But then, now we get into it. Now we're 80 weeks later. I'm 90 weeks later. And we're like, how can we just make little tweaks to our journey? So
bite-sized baby steps. I'm a huge fan of those. Don't overwhelm yourself. And it's never too late to like alter what you're doing either. You just have to start small. I wasn't in the gym 5 days a week when I started this. Now I am. And like I said before, I was cardio mostly before.
Yeah.
Now I'm mostly weightlifting. I was terrified of just So when I started the resistant portion of this, I was doing like the 30-minute workout stations at Planet Fitness because they're all machines and you're supposed to go from one to the next to the next. And it got me in the habit. I rarely go in that now. And I'm out at the row of benches with everyone else where the dumbbells are or the barbells. And the other day in between sets, I looked around and I went, there's not a single person here that's caring what I'm doing or judging me.
Right.
I know so many people who have been in larger bodies are afraid of gym judgment.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah.
Even if you're using 2 pounds or 4 pounds, like whatever works for you, don't be afraid. We're all going to always have our moments where we look silly to someone else.
Yeah.
You're not there for those other people though. You're there for yourself.
Yes.
And I constantly tell myself, even on the days where I don't feel that I am putting in as much effort at the gym, I say to myself, you showed up though, and you did the workout, and that matters almost more than the workout itself.
Yeah. Sometimes just getting there is 95% of the battle, right? Just putting on the shoes and getting there and getting it done. I know so many women that I talk to at my gym. I do the cardio classes, like the group fitness classes. And then, I've been going more and more over to that weight room side and trying a couple of the different machines. And I try to, hey, do you want to come over and try the pull-up machine with me? Oh, no, we don't go over there to the other side to the weight room. And it's a real fear that a lot of people have. So if you can just kind of find a way in the circuit at Planet Fitness or start with one machine or one exercise, just kind of start small and start edging in there. It can be really helpful.
Or watch, even if you're not ready to go to the gym yet, just find or get yourself, something that you can lift for a little bit of resistance.
Yeah.
Watch just a YouTube clip or something of how to just properly do it, and just first do it with no weight, and then do it until you feel more comfortable. And then, when it's cheaper to join the gym than it is to build your home gym at that point, because you're ready, you're equipped, and your mentality has started to shift. You feel more comfortable doing movements. And also it helps with not hurting you.
Well, that's the key, right? You don't want to get injured and then, mess up your progress. So, did you ever work with a trainer or anything like that?
I have, not recently, but during my bariatric time, I had worked with a trainer, after my sleeve, and that person ended up stopped being my trainer, became my best friend. So yes, I have. It was great. We did celebrate the first time I lost 100 pounds. Such a weird statement to say the first time I lost 100 pounds. We went skydiving after my sleeve.
Wow.
A year after my sleeve, we went skydiving because I met the weight requirement to go skydiving. And that was a big achievement for me. But again, unfortunately, the weight came back, and now we're here again. We did not do something wild and crazy for celebrating losing almost 150 pounds, but he, even though he is not my trainer anymore, does still often give me guidance and advice, and I'm very lucky to have that. He is no longer like a bodybuilder type, but he's still very athletic. And I will say too, one of my fears that I still have in this journey is actually organized sports, where I've gotten over the gym. Organized sport has been one. So I actually did sign myself up for a kickball league with all strangers. I do not know any of these people.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was. Well, I signed myself up for one that was supposed to start in a couple of days, but unfortunately they had to cancel it for some reason. But they bumped me to another one that starts next.
Okay.
So I'm excited. I put in the effort. I signed myself up. We're gonna see if I like it, and maybe that means I play kickball again. If not, I am also gonna give myself the grace to try another sport, and allow myself that it's okay to look a little ridiculous, because I'm sure someone else might be in the same spot that I am, that they're just trying to do more. And then if I like it, I will put the time and effort into getting better at it. And also, that might mean I have to adjust my gym schedule, because if I'm working out by playing kickball or volleyball or something,
I mean, that counts as a workout.
I've had a lifting then, or something like that. So
yeah, that's great. I love that. Trying something new, getting something, and I think back to, childhood traumas of sports teams and being picked last. And, we all have those fears, the dodgeball. I guess you guys weren't allowed probably to play dodgeball.
No, we were still where I would. And believe it or not, where I went to school, square dancing was part of gym class.
Oh, nice. I'm in the South, so we did that too. Where do you live, Zach?
Well, I live in Colorado now, but I grew up outside of Buffalo, New York. So a very you call that a steel city, kind of like the Rust Belt type of mentality there. And it was I think they still do it at my local high school that I graduated from. But we had dodgeball, we had handball, football, soccer, all of it. We were very fortunate with our gym units. I remember also the president's physical fitness test, which is now back.
I
heard that it was just coming back now, but that was definitely a trauma point.
Could you do the pull-ups?
I could never do one, but
I could do everything, but the girls had to do the flex arm hang. So I could do everything but the flex arm hang, and it traumatized me. I'm 56 years old. That was like when I was like 12, right? So I've been in the gym now. I've been working on assisted pull-ups, trying to get the one pull-up to overcome my trauma.
Everything came into my workout live the other day, and I was hanging around, literally just to work on the shoulders.
Yeah.
And like for the last week now, I've been like, you know what? I think I'm going to work in the assisted pull-up machine here soon, just to get used to that like movement again. And then I'll try on like the free body weight to pull myself up once. I'm not quite ready for that either, but you asked about a trainer. It's funny, instead of a trainer, I did hire a sports massage therapist though. And while that is more for relaxation, he's given me a lot of knowledge and information about how my body is put together. Because I do suffer for some minor scoliosis, and I do have some vertebrae that are out of place and injuries from years of also being overweight. The body does get some wear and tear from that. But he's given me tips and advice on, well, if you work in this workout, it will actually potentially help to put some space between your vertebrae again, or this will help tell your muscles in your shoulders to go back to where the appropriate tension that the muscle memory is supposed to be. Sometimes they get out of whack, and you do that. So I have someone coaching me on a completely different side to make sure that I don't hurt myself, kind of. But also it's kind of like restorative workouts almost, where he's giving me tips to just improve what I have to work with.
That's a great idea. I've never thought about something like that, but that could be really helpful.
Well, like I said, I did not hire them with that intention, but it just so happens that his mother is a doctor and his father's a physical therapist. So he's got a lot of medical background around him. Plus then, he himself is in that space from the massage therapy side of things. So it's someone who knows the body really well. And honestly, I am very fortunate to recently have found them. Even if they go on to bigger and better things down the road, I am learning a lot right now about my own physical being and how I can translate that into something to help myself over this journey. My chiropractor took x-rays last year and this year, and the vast, wild improvement in my spinal structure, my neck and my lumbar. I had almost no curvature left in my neck. I gained 12% of my curvature back in a year.
I didn't know you could do that.
Well,
Wow.
there's limits to it, but there are things you can like lay on for a while to
To like stretch.
that.
Yeah.
But through other activities, there's that. I'm getting some of the space back in between my lumbar discs. My back is not as far out of rotation as it usually has been. I could tell you during this journey, my hip was out of like off place almost every
Oh.
time I would go see the chiropractor. Now it's
Yeah.
rarely out of place. So
Huh.
like I'm like as I'm building strength and stuff, my systems in my body are doing what they can to also be as healthy as they can. And that is another true blessing of not just the weight loss, but I think of the GLPs as themselves with the reduction of inflammation that they're being shown caused. It's allowing, this is more than just weight loss. It's allowing my other natural processes in my body to do its thing. And my body is also trying to live now its healthiest form for what it has to work with. And
That's amazing.
that it best feeling. And if other people can experience this, the thing too is there's some people who don't respond to these meds. And I say with them, keep at it, because these aren't going to be the only versions of these meds for very long. There will be others. There will hopefully be one that you respond to. And the worst thing we can do at this point is give in to our disease.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think Jamie Seltzer said it took him 3 months before he lost any weight on a GLP-1. So yeah, for sure. There's lots of medications coming down the pike for this, to fight this disease of obesity. So definitely stay tuned. But I mean, I love that.
Like pioneers.
Great. The what? We're the pioneers.
We're the pioneers.
Yeah. I mean, really, only about 10, 11% of America are on GLP-1s, where up to maybe 74, 75% could benefit from them. So I think at some point, most everybody's going to be on one of these. So hopefully access will improve, prices will come down. That's our hope, right?
Yeah. Well, we got to do something because I think it's the World Health Organization. I might be misquoting, but I believe I saw a statistic that had by 2035, I think it was, 50% of the world population will be considered obese.
Oh, wow.
I might be off by the date on that, but regardless of that stat, even if it's 2050, 25 years from now, that's a horrifying statistic no matter what.
Yeah. For sure.
And it really is on multiple fronts that we need to do things about it. And I now dream of a generation that we can intervene so effectively in childhood obesity.
Absolutely.
And prevent some of the trauma that we went through.
Yeah. I mean, I have 2 children. They, I'm not allowed to talk about them on the channel. But, I am all for kids having access. So I guess Wegovy, you can get, I think, under the age of 18, and then you have to be 18 for Zepbound. So if you're out there with kids, definitely talk to your doctor about it.
Yeah. And, but the other part of that too is have your kid be a part of the conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Just don't go to the kid's doctor and be like, hey, I want to put my kid on X, because like, I also feel like the trauma, when like some of the earliest diets I was put on, I remember I don't really feel that like I was given a choice, and I don't fault any family member for that. But I think over time we learn how emotionally to talk and speak and approach things. When you're dealing with someone else, you have to remember that they are a person with feelings, and I don't think it hurts to loop a child into that conversation and understand how they feel too with it, because it could be a scary thing, or they might not even have an understanding of just how serious where they're at is either. They just might know that they're different. So
my mom took me to my first diet center when I was 10 years old. And this was in the 70s. This was like,
Yeah.
like what? So, I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. I mean, and, our parents, they only wanted to help us, right? They only,
Absolutely.
and I see that now as a parent looking back. I was so resentful for being drugged to the Weight Watchers meetings and Nutrisystem and all the diets, and my mom making me walk circles around the block and just for exercise, right? So, I mean, I grew up with all of that. So yeah, it's really something to unravel there as we go through this process.
Yeah, no, it really is. And who knows, maybe in another 20 years from now, we'll be talking about it in a completely different way again of how to do it. But, that's just, don't be afraid to have a conversation, and don't be afraid to try and understand the person you're trying to talk to's feelings is really that. But I remember I had to ask my mom about the lap band.
Oh,
I think I
Froze
froze
for a
for a
minute.
second
Yeah.
on you. Yeah. But I had to ask my mom about going and getting
Getting
information
lap
about that. But I had at that point also had already tried Weight Watchers, Atkins, and whatever else in between.
Yeah.
Some intentionally and some just like, oh, we're doing this as a family. And it was multiple family members across different households doing it too.
Yeah.
There was a matriarch figure in my family that suffered with obesity for a long time. She was one of the original stomach stapling procedure patients.
Oh, wow.
And until the day she passed away, she still saw herself as that large person, even though she wasn't.
Wow.
And so, there is a mental impact that obesity has, both positive and negative. Because like now that I've lost the weight, I feel like my mental health has gone skyrocketing. It definitely outweighs any dysmorphia that I have.
Yeah.
But I've had to navigate a lot of it on my own, and I've been so happy that I've been able to find a broader community outside of just bariatrics, but now with bariatrics and GLP-1, and just more people to share and interface with. And if you don't feel like you can also talk to the people around you, go and find people that you can talk to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know you're on TikTok, so everybody go follow Zach on TikTok. Are you on other platforms besides TikTok, or is that the main?
I mainly right now use TikTok and Instagram. So it's the same handle for both. We'll see where the future takes us with what platforms will be available. But I tried to be very lighthearted and silly with my content. Some posts are a little bit more educational. Really, when I go live, that's when it's a lot more educational or conversational. And I like to also kind of on the weekend bring more of the community up onto panels and have discussions. It's just gets silly, but like I feel like that takes not being serious all the time, makes it a little bit easier for us to share and go, oh my God, you went through that too? Or, whoa, I didn't experience that at all. Tell me more about this, please. And celebrating others. Comparison is a thief of joy.
For sure.
Because your journey is going a little bit differently than someone else's too, does not mean your journey is not successful or whatnot. There are plenty of people who have lost way more than I have in the same period of time. Well, guess what? They probably have more weight to lose than I did, or they're just different body height and sizes,
right.
and or again, they might not be on the right medication for their body, and that might be simple for semaglutide to Tirzepatide, or vice versa, or having to wait for one of these next generation ones that are coming. But we need to get around everyone and celebrate them, not compare ourselves to another person on the journey. Or there we go. That's a great way to end there.
Hey, that's Christopher's throwing you some confetti out there. Well, thank you, Zach. It's been great. It's been great talking with you today. I hope everybody out there will like and subscribe to The Downsized. If you'd like to come on The Downsized Dish and tell me your story, you can send me an email to Lorraine@thedownsized.org. I'll send you a link to our calendar, and we'll just chat about you, right, Zach?
Seriously, go and subscribe to them on YouTube. Wealth of information, other people like me on the dish as well. Some very incredible stories. And if you are looking for the motivation to start one of these journeys or your own journey, hearing from other people who've gone through it might be what you need to hear. And you might resonate with one of these particular people. Might not be me, and that's okay. But, we might not experience the same things. But I tell people that sharing your stories and your journey is like a snowball. When it starts to roll down the hill, it picks up steam, and all of a sudden it's a giant snowball. So
that's a great analogy.
Don't be afraid to share what your journey is then like. So I encourage it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Zach. And thanks for everybody out there watching. And we'll see you next time on The Downsized Dish. I'm Lorraine Durham. See you later. Bye.